Hello, Hobbs.
It matters.
Yeah, so sound checked for everyone listening. If you can hear us fine.
Yeah, somebody in the stream let us know, please, if everything is fine.
Yeah, if I'm too quiet or too loud, or my mic is just messed up like it was last run, I need someone to tell me.
You sound fine, Bragg. You're fine.
Alright,
Got this. Look, guys.
whoever's commentating, please give us the countdown.
Okay then, on 3.
Oh,
One,
wait,
two-
hold on, sorry.
Okay.
That's not gonna work, because I'll be slightly ahead of the stream. Crap. Whatever, I'll delay it by like 2 seconds, we'll hope that'll be good enough.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Alright,
Okay,
timer is
so...
a little bit behind, but that's about it, just a tiny bit.
Okay. So, unfortunately, Axends does not have a working mic, so myself and Silver will be doing commentary for him.
Hello.
So yeah, this is going to be just a single character run of Fourth by Sleep HD. And of course it will be Aqua. So if you know the handheld version, there are actually very little differences between the PSP and the HD version speedrun-wise for beginner. The very first fight of the game is probably one of the most annoying ones, especially on Aqua. You have to fight a lot of these orbs that like to move around in random directions. You know, allies will also typically hit them and send them flying across the room and make you chase after them. And wastes quite a bit of time if that happens. Yeah, so that was a relatively quick orb fight. You didn't get unlucky with their movement that much. You didn't really have to chase any of them around too hard. The skills that you have at the beginning on Aqua are Blizzard, Thunder, and Quick Blitz. So right now, those are the 3 that are being used. They will be replaced soon enough. The way that all 3 character speedruns work on beginner mode in this game is that you basically pick one element and stick with it, and all 3 characters go with fire. So as soon as we can start replacing our abilities with fire spells, we do so. EXP0 is only available in critical mode, so that can't be used on a beginner mode speedrun. The chest that was just picked up was a fleeting crystal, which is used later to gain an ability Magic Haste, which will reduce the recharge of magic spells. So for people who haven't played Birth by Sleep and aren't familiar with the command system, in this game all of your abilities are set to commands, which you put in a deck. Once you've used one, it goes on recharge for a set amount of time, and when it's off cooldown, you can use it again. This game also handles abilities differently than other Kingdom Hearts games. Skills such as Combo Plus, Leaf Racer, Second Chance, etc. you do not gain by leveling up. Instead, when you create commands, you attach a crystal to the command, and depending on the crystal you attach, you get a different ability. A big example throughout this run will be attaching a shimmering crystal to fire spells, and it will give the ability Fire Boost, which will then increase your fire damage. So, coming up is the escort quest for Aqua. All 3 characters have an escort mission. Aqua's can be the quickest if you're extremely lucky. The strategy for this fight is to kill off 2 of the first 3 floods that spawn, and then to keep the 3rd one back behind Jacques. This will cause Jacques to run forward. Jacques has 5 different paths he can take throughout this room, and depending on which path he takes, it'll spawn different unversed. 1 out of those 5 paths will spawn absolutely no additional enemies, and the escort quest will end immediately. All of the other paths will spawn at least 1 group of unversed. And we got the good Jacques pattern. That's extremely lucky. Okay, so for this boss, Course Coach, the strategy is to use Blizzard and Barrier Surge to try to get into the Spell Weevil command style as quickly as possible, because the combo finisher in Spell Weevil will actually stun the coach. Unfortunately, because the initial Blizzard and Thunders missed, he didn't go into into Spell Weevil. But now he is. So for anyone who caught Silver's critical mode run of 2.5 Fourth by Sleep earlier in the marathon, you will notice that D-Link load times are significantly longer in this version. Aqua is the one character in Beginner that pretty much doesn't suffer from that. You only use D-Links on her one time, and that's in Radiant Garden. So it's really not much of an issue for Aqua. And right now, Axends went over to pick up a poison chest out of the poison command out of a chest that he will be using in the upcoming boss fight. So right here is one of the closest things to a sequence break in Birth by Sleep. We will be accessing a chest that you aren't supposed to reach yet. The game intended you to not be able to reach this chest until you had high jump. However, by jumping up onto this archway and then using Barrier Surge to cross the gap, you can get to this chest which contains Vision Faraga, which is a very powerful spell for the early game. And that chest contains another fleeting crystal which will be used for melting later on. Okay, so right here, Axends is just going to be doing a little puzzle in order to access a couple chests. One which has a shimmering crystal, and the other a fire command. Axends is also killing some unversed along this way because we got such a good shock escort. We essentially got 0 experience from that first world, so Aqua is still level 1. And at level 2 we get a magic boost, which helps to make the next boss fight go a bit quicker. Axends is specifically going out of his way to kill these 2 spider chests, because they give a very decent amount of experience for this early on in the game, as well as a lot of money, which will be used for shopping in the next world. Okay, so Magic Mirror has 4 different attacks he can open up with, and the pattern he gives you depends on the attack he opens with. So he has like 8 different patterns total. Opening with that attack isn't great. It's out of his 4 attacks. That's the 3rd one you want to see. There are 2 that are better. And then following with this attack is about the worst thing that could happen. Because that is the one attack out of his 4 that is essentially non-punishable. If he had used either of his other 3 attacks, the fight would have been over with. But yeah, it was just an unlucky boss pattern.
Hello everyone. This is the Kingdom Hearts Community Marathon. Our goal was to raise $4,000 to help get our community members to AGDQ to support our run this year. We have reached our goal, and any extra money not used for travel will be donated to AGDQ. Current bid wars that we have right now still going are naming the gummy ship or Spike's Run. sorry, that was a slight interruption. Bid wars we have going on. We got naming gummy ship or Spike. We also have singing Disney songs, singing for Atlantica. That's always fun. And the bid war for fighting level 1 young Messer Xehanort or level 1 Julius for 3D.
Okay, so for menus, what's happening is that chest that Axends picked up earlier had a cure spell in it, and then what happened in that shop was that we sold off Barrier Surge and Quick Blitz and Blizzard, and then bought 5 fire spells and arrow. And right now the command deck is 3 fire spells, a magnet, and an arrow, along with Vision Faraga. So, for the upcoming fight, there is a rather annoying mechanic in Birth by Sleep. The game likes to let you fight with allies. However, when fighting with allies, if you are not the one who lands the killing blow on an enemy, you do not gain experience. So, before the boss fight in this world, we want to be level 4. And the amount of experience we need to hit level 4 will depend on how many enemies Prince Philip kills during these next 2 areas. So the more enemies that he gets the killing blow on, the more experience that has to be farmed before Maleficent. It's actually somewhat annoying with how many times Aqua fights with allies throughout her run, because it can become a very big issue of losing experience in different fights. You also notice that Axends will go out of his way on this screen to kill a few more enemies than necessary, and this is actually for the next room. If there are too many enemies left alive in this room before moving on, it can spawn enemies in the next room to not load when they're supposed to due to enemy limits. So it saves time to kill a few extra enemies in that room so that all of the ones still load correctly. Okay, and Axends actually just did a very small trick right there. After doing the reaction command from Philip, The game is slow to actually deload that wall that you destroy, and for a split second, the game considers you to be standing on it even though it's not there, so you're able to jump off of it and land on the next ledge. It basically only saves like a second, because it means you don't have to pull yourself up onto the ledge. And right now, Axends is just melting two files together with a shimmering crystal to create the spell Fire with a fire boost. He's also replacing Magnet and Arrow with two more fire spells. So as I said earlier, the game has 3 different elemental boosts: Fire, Blizzard, and Thunder. And for a speedrun, the best strategy is to just pick one element and get all of the boosts for that element, so you do increase the damage. And it just so happens that all 3 characters have the fastest routes by going with Fire. The fact that you gain access to Fission Fire in the second world is a big reason because of that. So, Dragon Mail in this version of the game has a glaring weakness that the KH1 version did not have, in that she has a very large blind spot. Now, it's actually possible to kill Dragon Maleficent before she ever leaves the ground. However, that is reliant on Philip actually hitting her for extra damage. If you're unlucky and Philip never hits her, then it's very unlikely for you to kill her that quickly. This boss is also one of the few bosses in the game that can cause the game to crash. It can crash the game in every version of Birth by Sleep. It was not fixed in this one. And if you're curious in that, it will actually be showcased in the other Birth by Sleep run that's still left in the marathon. That's later tonight. But yeah, so since Philip essentially did no damage to Maleficent this fight, we had to go through the reaction command.
Alright, our current donation incentives for the marathon. We have the bid war to name Spike Vegeta's gummy ship during his Proud Mode run, as well as singing various Disney songs. There is the Poji and Chrono face cams incentive. Ice Cream Beats and KHBBS run. Singing or not singing in KH2 English All Worlds. And the level 99 data.org. All extra money we receive will be going towards AGDQ. So feel free to keep donating for these extra and very fun incentives.
Yeah, so this is going to be the showcase of D-Links in this game if you haven't seen them. This is the glaring issue with Birth by Sleep on 2.5. D-Links take 8 to 10 seconds to load, which is quite a lot. What Axends is using is the Snow White D-Link, which has access to Gumpy, which is otherwise known as Treasure Raid. Treasure Raid, when it hits an enemy, can cause them to drop an item, and Axends actually got extremely lucky and got the item he wanted first try, which is an Abounding Crystal. That Abounding Crystal will now be noded with Magnet and Arrow to create the command Zero Gravity, Zero Gravera, with the ability EXP Walker. EXP Walker, it's exactly what it sounds like. You gain experience whenever you take a step. It actually does more than that. Every time Aqua does a cartwheel, you gain 4 to 5 experience. You also gain experience every time you use a command or use an attack. So throughout this run, you gain quite a lot of experience from EXP Walker. So this fight is another case of where allies can steal experience in bad ways. It's fine if Mickey kills these first few waves of enemies with the Floods and the Mandrakes. However, soon you will notice 2 larger unbursts spawn. One is the Chrono Crystal, which is a giant hourglass, and the second one is the Tank Toppler, which is what you could equate to a large body from KH1 and 2. You really want to get the killing blows on them because they are worth a lot of experience. Unfortunately, Mickey attacked the Tank Toppler, which meant that it blew up, and Axends missed the experience from it. So that'll probably mean having to kill a few extra enemies before the next boss. Yeah, other than losing the Tank Toppler experience, the fight went very quickly. Normally those Archravens at the end can fly around and cause you to have to chase after them for a decent amount of time, but they stayed grouped up pretty well. And right now Axends is just noting another fire with fire boost again. The max number of elemental boosts you can have in this game is 3, so we currently have 2 out of the 3 fire boosts that we can get. You'll also notice that he just leveled up while cartwheeling around, which shows the effects of the EXP Walker at work. However, he did only just hit level 6, which isn't great. Ideally, you want to hit level 6 partway through that fight with Mickey, so he is going to have to spend a bit of time getting experience here. You also notice that the D-Link animation just played when he went to cast Zero Gravera. That is a, I suppose you could call it glitch in Birth by Sleep. When you use a command and the game is still trying to load it, it will play the D-Link animation. So now is the first of 2 bosses for this world, Trinity Armor. The first half of this fight is Axends is going to try to destroy the legs before Trinity Armor splits apart. That is fairly difficult to do on Aqua. It's pretty rare that it actually happens, because compared to the other 2 characters, she is pretty weak at this point in the game. Okay, so he did manage to destroy the legs on time. What that does is it skips Trinity Armor's one of his most annoying attacks, where all 3 body parts just spin around the room, and is a very likely move to kill you. So skipping that can save a very decent amount of time. And then the arms didn't have much health left, so they died pretty quickly. So all that remains now is the head. So yeah, that fight went fairly well. Okay, so this chest that Axends is picking up right now, when he used Treasure Raid back to get the Abounding Crystal from the Mandrakes, if he had been extremely lucky, he could have got 2 arrow drops as well. However, since he did not, he needed to pick up that chest, which had a Thunder in it, and will be sold in the next shop. Yeah, you notice that Axends is only killing the tank. It's because right now in the game, the tank top floors give, I believe they give 30 experience, whereas every other enemy in Radiant Garden gives between 2 and 15. So they are the best source of experience while running through here. And we do need to farm extra experience throughout the game so that we aren't underleveled for the final bosses. Being underleveled in this game is extremely bad, and you would do no damage, so we need to make sure that doesn't happen. Right now is the Vanitas boss fight. We have Zero Gravra equipped, and Vanitas is not immune to that in this version of the fight. So Axends will be trying to hit Vanitas with Zero Gravra to get him stuck in the air. However, Vanitas has a fairly high chance to dodge it, so it's pretty common for him to dodge it when you try to hit him with it. And now that he is in Blade Charge, his physical attacks do a lot of damage, and he will just use physical combos. Okay, so the next world that we're heading to is Disney Town. This is the obligatory minigame of the run. All 3 characters have to come here and play the minigame to advance the story. However, football is nice in that it's actually a pretty decent break for a run. The minigame is 3 minutes long, and once you have a decent lead on the unversed, then you are almost guaranteed to win. So it is a nice break point halfway through the run.
Alright, sorry. To anyone new here, this is the Arts Community Marathon. Our goal is to raise $4,000 to help get our community members to AGDQ in January. Any extra money not going towards travel will be going to AGDQ. Anyone who has donated $50 will be automatically be able to request a drawing of a Kingdom Hearts character of their choice from Kiwi Justice. We have donation incentives going on for the marathon, such as naming Spike Vegeta's Gummy Ship and having him sing Disney songs. Another incentive is having Koji and Chrono have face cams during their comedy race, or ice cream beat thongs during KHBBS BBS run. Singing or not singing Atlantic songs during the KH2 English All Worlds run, and having level 99 data org instead of level 1.
Okay, so next up, the game expects us to go to Olympus Coliseum next. However, you might remember in Olympus Coliseum on Aqua, you do have to go through 10 timed fights. And at this point in the game, we are too underleveled to be able to do those fights. So instead, we are going to deep space. Unfortunately, that means we are pretty underleveled for what the game wants us to be at, and all of our moves will start doing chip damage. I believe at this point, Axends is either level 9 or 10, and magic won't do normal damage until level 14. So, instead of spamming fire like we were in Radiant Garden, in that menu in Disney Town we equipped 2 magnets. In this game, magnet does percentile damage and hits multiple times per cast. So, rather than spamming through fire spells, you're just going to do damage over time with magnet. Which is also nice because it puts us into the Spellweaver command style, and the Spellweaver command style finisher does a very large number of hits. You'll also notice that a big change that they made in the 2.5 version is that magnet persists through command style changes. In the PSP version, if you were to cast magnet and then change command styles, the magnet spell would be cancelled. In this version, it continues to be active for its normal duration. Yeah, so unfortunately, because we have to come here before OC, the fights can be a little drawn out due to having to do most of the damage through magnet and Spellweaver finishers. Something else for people who don't know this game very well, you may notice all of those level ups in the upper right hand corner. When you equip a command in this game, commands also gain experience called CP. As a command levels up, it starts to do more damage or has higher durations or lower cooldowns. And once it maxes its level, any ability that was equipped to it becomes permanent. So say that EXP Walker ability that's on Zero Gravera, right now if we were to unequip Zero Gravera, we would lose EXP Walker. But once the Zero Gravera maxes its level, then EXP Walker becomes permanent and we keep it for the entire game. And right now, Axends is melding 2 magnets together to make a Magnoa with Magic Haste, and melding Cure and Arrow together with a Fleeting Crystal to make Cure with Magic Haste. And as the name implies, Magic Haste reduces the cooldown for magic abilities. So, Axends is about to enter what most of the Birth by Sleep runners probably consider the worst minigame in the entire game. This minigame is very RNG dependent and is just not fun to do. Yeah, so these unversed ships can come at you from all directions, so the strat is to stay at the outer side to reduce the amount of blind spots you have. Yeah, so overall, that was a very good minigame. He only got hit a couple times. Most of them stayed within his field of vision, and he didn't really have to chase any around at the end. And then right now, Axends is just going to clear out the unversed in this next room so that he can use the teleportal. While most action commands in this game aren't limited by being in combat, such as opening chests or using the gravity machines, using this teleportal is disabled when in combat. And right there, Axends equipped Air Slide, which is going to be used for a small sequence break in Neverland. So in this upcoming fight, it's another case of allies stealing experience. A Stitch is going to be in this fight. You may have noticed that throughout Deep Space we have been doing very little damage to enemies. That is not the case for Stitch. The game has Stitch at the level that is meant to be for this world, so Stitch's attacks will still do normal damage. So we do want Stitch to try to attack enemies and kill them quickly. The exception is going to be at the end of this fight, 2 tanks will spawn, and hopefully Axends will get those into a magnet spell before Stitch can kill them or make them blow up. Yeah, so ideally Stitch would have killed the Floods a bit earlier though, but he did attack them eventually, which isn't too bad. Stitch is actually attacking more than usual, which is a good sign. Okay, so that was a bit unfortunate that one of the tanks blew up. Actually, no. It looks like the first tank blowing up was the cause of death for the second one, so I think Axends lost out on experience for both of those. Which, it's not a huge issue, but it's definitely not what you want to see. I think he should still be fine on experience, but it might be iffy because of that. Okay, so Axends just bought 2 files, a Fire and a Poison. You might remember he picked up a Poison near the beginning of the run. These 2 Poisons are going to be used in the next boss fight. So in this next boss fight, because we do very little damage at the moment, instead of trying to fight Gontu with no more attacks, we are just going to poison him and let poison do its percentile damage. And in between poisons, Axends is just going to move around to gain experience through EXP walking. Since he's better off gaining experience through that than trying to just do chip damage to Gontu. Also, Stitch is also in this fight, which means that this fight can go very quickly or very slowly depending on how helpful Stitch wants to be. Because if you didn't notice in that last fight, Stitch's attacks can do a very large amount of damage, but it is completely up to Stitch whether he feels like helping. So hopefully Stitch attacks onto a lot. It's actually off to a pretty good start. Stitch is doing quite a lot of damage. Like, this is very high amount of damage from Stitch compared to normal. Yeah, that was a very quick fight. Stitch is actually really helpful. So the one fun thing about running this game with EXP Walker, because we rely so much on EXP Walker for experience, that actually means that the better the fights go, the worse we get on experience, and the more enemies we have to route in.
This is the Kingdom Hearts Community Marathon. Our goal was to raise $4,000 to get several community members to AGDQ for our run this year. Any extra money that's not being used for travel will be going to AGDQ. We have several donation incentives still going for the rest of the marathon, such as naming Spike Vegeta's gummy ship and having Spike sing several different Disney songs during his run. We have the donation war for singing or not singing Atlantica songs during KH2 All Worlds as well. And Toji and Chrono face cams during their comedy race.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the game wanted us to do Olympus Coliseum before Deep Space. That means we are a bit higher leveled now for Olympus Coliseum than the game expects, so we go from doing chip damage in Deep Space to doing very large amount of damage in OC. As for that menu he did on the world map, it was basically taking out the poison spells and putting back in all of the fire spells we had earlier. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier about the whole issue with EXP Walker, that's actually meant that the more optimized boss fights have gotten as we've done this route. We've had to route in more random enemies along the way to make up for the lost experience. Yeah, Hercules is in that fight. Unlike Stitch, he is essentially a useless ally. You can basically pretend like he isn't even there. Okay, so right now Axends is going to be melding a Cure and or a Fire and Fire together to make Fire. This spell has a 10% chance to become Raging Storm instead of Fire, which is very bad. Luckily, neither of those happen to Axends right now. After these upcoming fights, we'll be making a third Fire, so hopefully that one doesn't change either. In casual play, Raging Storm is a fun ability and can be very strong. However, in a speedrun setting, when most of the fighting is against bosses, Raging Storm is very useless, and we do not want to see it. Specifically because it will eat the ability that was connected to it. So say if we modded the Fire with Fire Boost and it turned into Raging Storm, we would lose that Fire Boost. A common joke that a lot of the Aqua runners have been doing is that we are waiting for one of us to get 3 Raging Storms in one run. Since each Fire has a 10% chance of turning into Raging Storm, that means for it to happen to all 3 times would be a 1 in 1,000 chance. Yeah, so now that we have 2 out of the 3, we have all 3 Fire Boosts and plenty of Magic Haste. Essentially the rest of the Aqua run is like this, where it's going to be using Fire spells. So I mentioned back in Enchanted Dominion about enemy limits on screen. That can come into play on round 10 during the Jelly Shades. If, for that fight, Axends is going to use a Shot Lock. If you are extremely lucky, the game will load all of the Jelly Shades and the fight will be over with after that Shot Lock. However, most of the time that doesn't happen, and he will have to walk around and kill a couple Jelly Shades at the end of that round. Yeah, so that's the other issue with using a Shot Lock in round 10. The way the camera decides to face you is completely random, and Axends got the worst camera angle. It faced him directly away from the enemies, so the bubbles did not go towards the Jelly Shades. So the Zack fight is a complete push level. Ideally, you would not get hit a single time. Sometimes you can get unlucky and he'll break through your combos and get in a hit or two. Yeah, so now that he's in Blade Charge, he can just keep that comboed in the corner until he dies. Okay, so this is the final Firegun mode, hopefully no Raging Storm. And he got Raging Storm. So yeah, that's a 10% chance to happen. That actually isn't horrible because he didn't have the crystal he needed anyways. Normally, in that mode, you would use a fleeting crystal to get a 4th magic haste. However, Axends was unfortunate and never got the 4th fleeting crystal to drop. So it was a soothing crystal with HP boost, which isn't really that bad. If that had been a fleeting crystal with a magic haste, it would have been unfortunate, but HP boost doesn't really mean anything. So that essentially doesn't matter. Okay, so for this boss fight, Ice Colossus, he just dies immediately to fire spells. However, Hades, the moment Ice Colossus dies, Hades will move towards you, and if he gets too close to you, he will go and use his DM, which is where he turns red and becomes invincible for 15 seconds. So, the strategy is to attack Hades with an aerial attack before he gets close enough to go invincible. And as long as you combo him afterwards, you should hopefully kill him before he goes invincible again. However, Hades can be quite mean and go invincible mid-combo. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Yeah, so what Axends chose to do though, instead of using the Blade Charge finisher, he just used Fire Spells, because the finisher takes about 3 to 4 seconds to wind up, and in that time Hades can use his DM. So he's better off using Fire Spells to keep Hades stunned as he did. So he got DMless Hades, which is really nice.
Really good fight. Good job, Axends.
But hey there, Ace.
Hey, I'm taking over Bregu for about 20 minutes, so.
Yeah, go for it. You have time.
Alrighty. Well, we have no new donations, but I want to thank you all for joining us. Currently watching Axends with Aqua Story on Beginner coming up here soon. We've got Adam and Silver's 3D new game plus any percent race. That's actually going to be really good. You should really check out the layout for that thing that's coming up. It's the dopest thing I ever made. Holy crap. Shut up, J-Hobbs. God, you bastard. Anyways, but yeah, please continue to enjoy Axends' display of Aqua Story. There is plenty more coming up. I know we've got some donation incentives, but I don't want to take over commentary too long because I don't know what the hell is going on because Birth by Sleep. So continue on. Thank you.
Okay, well, I will just plug one donation incentive that is open in the next run for 3D. The bidding war between level 1 Young Master Xehanort and level 1 Julius. So, if you care about seeing either of those fights, be for sure to donate for them. As for Neverland, this fight actually has no required fights outside of the boss at the end. It is essentially run around in a circle and fight the boss. So, this sword doesn't really have a whole lot to it. There is going to be a very small sequence break in a few screens from now involving Airslide. In the PSP version, it actually uses the Mickey D-Link instead of L-Slide. However, as you noticed, in this version, D-Links have very long load times, so any use of a D-Link in the Aqua route has basically been taken out. Okay, so up here, Axends is going to open up 2 chests. The first one is a Fauga, which will be used for fighting the final bosses. The second one is Time Splicer, which is just going to be sold in about a minute from now. And right here is the very minor sequence break. You can just L-slide across this gap and make it to the Pixie Orb. The game intends you to fall all the way back down and use those orbs to jump back up.
So Adam, why would you say Aqua Story is one of the favorites? Because honestly, I would just say Grill. But
yeah, every marathon, like I've ran this game in 3 different marathons and had donation wars between Aqua and Terra, and Aqua has won every single time. And I have to say it's because of what you said. I can't really think of any other reason. Because I honestly think Terra's is a more interesting run. Aqua's does have her points that are interesting in the run, but yeah, I don't really know for sure. Also, to explain what just happened in the menus, because we are slightly underleveled for this fight, our current attacks would do very minimal damage. So we sold Time Splicer and bought Ignites. This version of Vanitas is not immune to Ignite. So we currently have, I think, 4 Ignite spells equipped. It might be 5. And so yeah, this fight's just going to be casting Ignite while cartwheeling around for experience to hit level 18. Because we really need to hit level 18 before the final boss fights. So if that doesn't happen in this fight, it'll hopefully happen while walking to Braid. Yeah, so Vanitas is really dumb and can actually dodge Ignite, which is, yeah. So hopefully he doesn't dodge Ignite too often.
I'm noticing a lot of things when I was playing this game first, like casual, and I found out Ignite is broke.
Yes.
It's really hard sometimes to actually get an Ignite off on Vanitas, so.
Yeah, it can be quite annoying. There's only the attack that he just used where he dove underground is the only time that you can guarantee get an Ignite on him, because he cannot cancel that to dodge it. Any other time throughout the fight, he can basically choose to dodge Ignite.
You have to have really good timing for it, and it's a good job by Axends by keeping it up and getting his timing correct, because he's hitting almost every Ignite.
Yeah. While it can be okay for some of them to miss because of how long Ignite will last. and then just use a shot lock to finish it off, because Ignite actually cannot kill a boss. It will bring them down to 1 health, and you can continue to ignite them after that, but it will do nothing. You need to actually attack them in some other way to kill them. Yeah, so somebody mentioned Time Splicer earlier. Any attempt of using a physical-based attack on Aqua in this game would be completely pointless. It would not end well at all. Aqua's physical stats at this point in the game, since she is only level 17 to 18, are deplorable and would do chip damage. Axends also seems to be having some issues with his home screen. Looks like he's trying to prove a point about which console this is on. Yeah, so just a bit of plot stuff right now. Aqua's gonna go meet with Jensen, Goofy, and Donald. Nothing important. I will point out though, the Keyblade we just got from Neverland, Pixie Petal, has a 6 points in magic set in its magic set. It is because of that Keyblade that we do not have to grind any more levels for the final bosses. Because the other Keyblade Aqua gets, her story-related one, only has 4 points in magic, which is not good. The Pixie Petal gives us the exact amount we need in our magic stat to be able to do decent damage against the final 2 bosses at level 18. If it wasn't for that, we would have to grind to at least level 20, possibly 22. Yeah, so coming up, a lot of you guys who have played this game might remember the Tornado Alley. The area in this game that has quite a few tornadoes in them, and if a tornado hits you, puts you into a battle with 3 waves of Unversed. It's actually possible to get through here without hitting any of them. The way that this will work is only 1 tornado can follow you at a time. And if you make a new tornado follow you, the one that was following you gets reset and goes back to its original position. So what Axends would do is get near the first tornado and then continue to go very close to the following tornadoes to reset the ones that are chasing him. If he does it correctly, he should get through without getting hit by any of them. This is another case where the 2.5 kind of is bad compared to the PSP version. In the PSP version, you can use the Mickey D-Link, which has 2 sliding dashes to get through this room very safely. Because of the D-Link loading times, can't really rely on that on 2.5.
Now, Adam, if you get sucked up by one of these tornadoes, what happens?
It puts you into a fight against 3 waves of Unversed. And at this point, we are very under-leveled, and those fights would take an extremely long time to do. So instead, we would want to just die and try to go through again. But fortunately, Axends did not get hit by any of them, so that is not an issue. You also saw that at the beginning, Axends re-equipped the Fire and Fire spells of Ignites because Brig and Vanitas are immune to Ignite at this point. We also hit level 18 just in time, so the experience worked out perfectly.
Timing, Axends, good timing.
Which is a good sign, given how much experience he lost in deep space because of the tanks blowing up. So that was pretty lucky that it still worked out. Yeah, so these final two boss fights are just going to be using the fire spells. As I said, your strength stat is way too low to do any damage through physical moves or using a shot lock. So those are essentially unusable in these two fights. It also seems that Axends managed to somehow fail the Luxord minigame. Even when not playing KH2, he manages to fail it.
Well, nice job, Axends. I thought you knew the rules by now, but you just don't.
You also see Axends reflecting back most of Brig's bullets in this fight. Reflecting his projectiles back does a fairly decent amount of damage to him. You also notice that those dark projectiles on the ground, they do retain their hitbox after he's done using that attack. So just by stepping on them afterwards, you do get damaged. That was a fairly quick fight though. Brig can actually make a lot of your Falgas miss, but most of them hit him, and so that fight ended fairly quickly.
Why can't Axends just learn the rules?
And then this last fight, because Aqua doesn't fight with enough allies, you are once again fighting with Mickey, which means that this fight suffers from the same issue with Gantu, where you can gain or lose a lot of time based on how much damage your ally does. So, if we're lucky, Mickey will just physically attack Vanitas. If we're not lucky, he'll try to constantly use his reaction command, which does essentially 0 damage in a complete waste of time. And from the very beginning, he's trying to use his reaction command, so that is not a very good sign for Mickey being helpful in this fight. Yeah, the next big time in this fight when Mickey can be helpful is when Vanitas goes to charge up his attack in the middle of the screen. Mickey will usually go up and hit him a few times, causing about half a bar of health, or he'll go up and use his reaction command. Hopefully he'll attack him. Okay, he did choose to attack that time. Oh. That is unfortunate. Yeah, so that was just unlucky. Goes to show that you aren't completely invincible during Aqua's cartwheels, and that managed to snipe him during the small amount of time that you are vulnerable between cartwheeling. And time is coming up. Yeah, this move where Vanitas is going underground is one of the best moves to see. Just like the previous fight, that is the time when he cannot dodge any of your attacks, and it's the only time that you're really guaranteed to get damage, other than when he's charging in the middle of the screen. And time. So, yeah, 126.09. So without that death, you would have been pretty close to your PB. Axends PB / record for this is a 124.14.
Wow. Damn, nice job, Axends.
Yeah, good run. Even with the Raging Storm. So you were short a magic case for the entire last section of the game. Due to bad crystal luck. Now I'm actually gonna go set up from my base.
Well, good job, Axends. Congrats on finishing marathon run for Aqua. And why is the sound randomly showing up? Can I get Yulf in here for dual donation commentary with you guys?
I'm fine with it.
Oh, is Bregu back?
Yeah, I said I was back.
Dude, I didn't even hear
If you wanna dual donate, read.
Dude, no. Yeah, that's your slot, dude. That's all you. I just didn't know if you were back. Oh, right now? Oh. I thought you already had that. Well, Axends, good job. Thank you guys all for watching. This is really great. This community marathon. Coming up next, we've got a run with Adam Timothy 0 and Sivir Gui 001 with Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, new game plus any % race. It's gonna be really awesome. Stick around, guys. We'll be right back.
Thanks for taking over, Ace.
Yeah, no problem, dude.